talk about your vision. When you first came in office, you had big ideas. What were those ideas then, and how is that different from what you saw 10, 15 years later?
Well, there was a lot to do, I guess, and so I think we had a period of where we coasted, and it was catching up with us, and the area we're in now looked bad, and it's still, it's so, the university was not happy with how it looked, and so that was one of the first projects we did, was the Eastgate redevelopment, and so and roundabout. This was the first roundabout in Valparaiso, and also the first roundabout on the state highway in the state of Indiana. I got the idea of roundabouts from my friendship with Jim Brainerd, Mayor of Carmel. He had 10 of them when I thought it was a great idea. I brought it back, and we're continuing to build them. We're building a very, of course, large one right now, just east of here at the port. So it's a lot of different things. The roundabouts are a symbol of the fact that we want to be progressive. We want to try new things. They're safer. They move traffic better. They're more beautiful. They use less energy. But you got to think going through them, and it's a slow dance. And see, if I'm going slow, it never stops moving. So
it's the Jeep wave.
Yeah. Oh, it's the Jeep wave.
Yeah.
Right.
When you have a Jeep, everybody waves.
I didn't know that, but I'm glad to. I should know that. Dave Rogers is a good friend of mine, so I'm going to have a little bit more training in that. But.
And this is called Cool Cars No Boundaries, and you're driving one of Dave's Jeeps, the very popular Wrangler. No, you're again, it's Cool Cars No Boundaries today. It's Cool Mayor No Boundaries, and your boundaries are actually going out to 30, and you're
it's just
getting it started
so
before
it's
you leave.
all. I mean, the thing is our change has been all over the city. When you think on the north end, the redevelopment of the county seat. I mean, we acquired that, we redeveloped that, then, with help from the Ursulas, we got a new Y, and then that whole area is a great area of the city where, it's great to do business there. We've done a ton of stormwater work, so, you don't see that, but it's important, so less houses are flooding, and so we've done tens of millions of dollars stormwater work and utility work. We brought fiber, our own fiber to the city. That was a $2 million project. Route 30, we got a $22 million grant from the state to make Route 30 look like no other place in Indiana. And when you get on Route 30, now in front of Grieger's, we finished that section. It's beautiful, we've taken it over. We've got beautiful lighting, pathway. We're extending that all the way down to Route 49. And then mentioned our transportation systems. Again, we took quite a bit of early opposition to that. They said it's not sustainable, and here we are 10 years later. Chicago Dash, we're adding 2 more buses. We're soon to be 6 buses.
And I've heard that people, that's what they prefer to take, except for on the weekends when they have no other choice. But I guess it's that popular.
Yeah, and it's very sustainable. It's fast. It's like I said, so now we have a transit-oriented development area where there's 150 cars parked. Where the old Ankle, we've acquired all of that property. We've cleaned it up. We've remediated all the environmental concerns, and Journeyman Distillery will soon be coming there with more housing options and more entertainment options there in that part of the city that has long been neglected and is turning from an industrial area into a healthy living area. So we're trying to touch every part of the city, and we've also, we have a lot of philosophies. When I left as mayor, I didn't want to leave any deferred maintenance onto the next generation. So we're fixing City Hall up significantly. Renovation right now. That's really the last larger facility that needed improvement, and it's going to be beautiful. And we did it in a creatively frugal manner. Lots of times they go to build a new City Hall and it's $10 million. We had a beautiful building, and we worked with some different drawings. The first were kind of expensive, and so We ended up doing it for 4.2, and we had saved up $1.2 million. So for $3 million, we're getting a state-of-the-art facility that lasts us for decades and decades.
Let's talk a little bit about community. I think that when you look at the downtown restaurants, you look at City Hall, your city council, the Parks Department, everybody wants to work together. And that couldn't have just happened by accident. Let's talk a little bit about that.
No, I think that's true. I mean, I talk about the 5 pillars or 5 sectors of the community. Business and labor is one, then education, government, nonprofit, and the faith community. And all of these sectors have there's many fabulous leaders in those sectors, and they just have a spirit of collaboration and goodwill, knowing that we can get a lot more accomplished by working together than we can alone. And we have a very generous citizenry too. Yeah. So there is a strong sense of community, and that's something maybe I've been able to foster a little bit. It's always been there, but it's also a value that is strongly held by many people in this community.
And Rick Fertascia, he was one of your generals. He just made people feel good. And I think one of his shining moments in his life was Valparaiso. And I think that was a natural progression of a contagious attitude that we all have to do our part. And they actually had to turn volunteers down.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right, Jim. Valparaiso does represent really the DNA of the city. First of all, we raised $1 million privately. We've done that twice now. How many communities have done it twice? And the last time we did it, every time we've raised all the money for the materials, and then we've had thousands of volunteers come out and build it. And I mean, there's another amenity of the city that I mean, I'm sure right now there's several hundred kids and parents hanging out there, having fun, and but how that occurred is really a great example of what Valparaiso is all about.
Yeah, and Valpo's a special town, and I couldn't be more honored to have the opportunity to talk with you, because it's always been important to me to get involved, and I couldn't be more impressed by what's happened in the city in the last 16 years. And on behalf of Valparaiso, we really do appreciate everything you've done.
I feel I'm the lucky one. I got to play in this role and play on a great team and be part of an amazing, I think, a transformation. But we need to remember we're all just playing our roles, and it takes all of us to bring about the community that we enjoy, and all of us to embrace the values that really, I think, make us special, and help us to adapt to the future and come out on top.
Well, let's go take a look at the park.
Sure.
This is where it all, culmination of your vision, your hard work. You got the downtown, the Parks Department, the restaurants. Right here we got your dad.
Yeah.
How has he inspired you? How did he inspire you to do all this? You followed his footsteps.
Well, Dad taught me an awful lot of things. He taught me first, about servant leadership. That's the best form of leadership, is a heart that wants to make sure that we serve the people well, humbly, but also we have a tenacity to accomplish things, to move the city forward. And so that was my dad's faith inspired me in so many ways, and his honesty and his service as a state senator. And so I think about him all the time. And as we look around here, I mean, yes, the downtown is very important for the city. It's the heart of the city, and we knew that when we took over 16 years ago at my administration, we needed to revive this heart and make it beat strong again. And it's really so wonderful to look around and to see people happy, the children playing, people relaxing. This has become a place where everybody is welcome, everybody can gather, where we have lots of fun events. And if you want to have a great dinner, you've got all kinds of choices in downtown. It's become a regional attraction, really. People just come to the downtown knowing they have a tremendous amount of options for eating. So it's a fun place. it's a place where everybody feels home.
Now, the parks. I remember before you were mayor, you were active with the Parks Department.
Yeah.
You were on the board, if I remember.
Yes. Yeah.
It's very near to your heart. Why are the parks important to you, and why is it important to the community?
Well, Valparaiso's had a long tradition, long before I became mayor, of just a really strong park program. Because, you know, parks unite us, and they help us to stay active physically, and they bring us peace, you know, in the midst of all kinds of asphalt, concrete, and a busy life.
Do you mind if we walk over and take a closer look?
Yeah, let's do that.